If you would like to improve your well-being, there's one question you should probably learn to ask yourself. Too often when we're in the midst of either a personal kind of challenge or an interpersonal conflict of some sort, we're wanting to try and get our point of view across. But one of the keys is really about learning to listen and understand to others, what their perspective is. Too often we want to be right. We want to be right in our own mind, even if being right makes us miserable. So whilst I was doing my master's studies in a subject on conflict management, I came across a question which really stood out for me as just being so pivotally important. Would you rather be right or happy? And too often people really want to be right when they put their happiness and well-being in jeopardy. So taking a position of being happy means, yes, sometimes you may need to hold back from sharing your point of view. It comes from a place of greater compassion, a greater sense of forgiveness. It also has that much more forward-thinking outlook that we're looking for the long term rather than short-term gains that we might feel we get by being right. It takes into perspective that bigger picture and really comes from a place of a greater sense of wisdom. Whereas aiming to be right and seeking that position of righteousness sometimes is much more short-term focused. It's very, very judgmental, and it really is often more self-focused rather than that place of coming from us. What's good for us? So taking that question a little further, not just from would you rather be right or happy, is if it involves other people, is what's in the best interest of our relationship? What's in the best interest of our well-being? What's in the best interest of my well-being? Not just my sense and my ego's, fragile ego's position, but what's in my genuine sense of well-being. Because when we're wanting to be right, we may have that wanting to push our point of view onto someone else. We might be trying to dominate someone else and saying that we seem to have a stranglehold on what is the truth in a particular situation, whereas there's many different ways to look at a situation, and ours is just but one of those possible things. But when we're trying to have our position as the only position, you know, we're coming across with so many negative emotions that aren't doing our own well-being any good, and certainly can be quite damaging for the relationship. So from an interpersonal point of view, with Australia having something like 40 to 50,000 divorces in 2017, the last stats I could find, you know, interpersonal conflict, there's a lot of trying to be right in those situations. There's a lot of other factors contributing to divorces as well. But often conflict and not being able to manage conflict is certainly one of those. So with something like 30% of first-time marriages ending in divorce, people going for second marriages, 60% divorce rate for those, and the average marriage just lasting 12 years, that's a lot of conflicts and a lot of challenges that I think if we take this bigger picture view, if we can find ourselves on the same page to try and pursue that place of what's better for our sense of well-being, then perhaps a lot more people would be happier, there'd be a lot fewer conflicts, and certainly perhaps we might have a lot more longer-term satisfied relationships. So here's to improving your sense of well-being by focusing on what's in the best interest of being happy rather than being right, and all the well-being benefits that go with that. So I hope you enjoy pausing for some thought the next time you face either an inner conflict or an interpersonal one. Enjoy. Until next time, this is Patrea O'Donoghue, psychologist.